The Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Blade Nzimande, will hold a media briefing on the post-school education and training further measures in response to the COVID-19 virus within the sector. Let's now cross to our colleague Mahlako Komane. She's with a few higher education students who want to tell us what they're expecting to hear from the briefing. Mahlako, what's happening where you are?
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Desiree, and everybody, the listeners, the viewers rather, at home. Indeed, we are in Gwamhlanga, just outside Gwamhlanga, in a place called Thembaletu. And you're quite correct. We are joined by three learners at, three students at the CN Mahlako TVET College, and I think it's in Siyabuswa. And you'll remember that on the 30th of April. On the 30th of April, Minister Nzimande had obviously made pronouncements as to what he projected the plans to be for his department, and in a few minutes he will be giving us an update. You know, there was the procurement of obviously PPEs, as well as what was it that was going to be done in terms of the academic year. But also, I think we also remember that finally I think medical students were allowed to return. But also other institutions, you know, there was also talk of some places encouraging learners to deregister. Other learners also, I think, just not sure as to what is it that's going to be happening. And I think from today's pronouncements, we will be able to get an understanding as to what institutions will be doing going forward. Will they be revising the academic calendar? Will they be extending the academic year perhaps to finish just before April to make up for the 2 months? As well as we know that WITS had given some of their students data to just try and continue with online learning. But I think speaking about online learning and what is it that has been happening since this lockdown has started, I think I'm just going to ask Zanele Masombuka. She is a student as well. Zanele, you are a student at the TVET College. Can you just kindly just tell me, since the lockdown, what is it that has been happening in terms of the academic program?
What has happened, only one group has been created so that we can study online, an English group. Then with other subjects, nothing has been happening. We've never had anything. We've never received data to follow up or catch up with other subjects. So it's been hectic, like very hectic. And we can't study on our own because we left our books at the campus, so nothing is happening.
So you haven't received data. So this group that has been created, on what platform is it? Is it Google Classrooms? Is it what platform is it? What social platform is it?
The group has been created on WhatsApp. So you have to buy your own data so that you are not left behind.
Okay, and you, can you just tell me, what has been happening with you? I also understand that you are a final year student. This was obviously meant to be your final year. How have things been?
Yeah, true. This was supposed to be my last year, but then as things are happening, it doesn't seem like it's gonna end well. They've been said that there will be online tutorial, but then we are not provided with data. They said they were going to hand themselves to us, but then we haven't received anything yet. They said we should listen to radio. I've been listening to Likwalakwala FM since it started, but then because the course that I'm doing, it has never been mentioned. They have never talked about it. So we are left behind. And there's no way we are going to catch up. The only way for us to catch up is only go back to school. And by going back to school, we should receive PPEs and make sure that the school is clean, it's safe for us to can go back. And if it happens we go back to school, they should just make sure that these 2 months that we didn't attend, it shouldn't just go to waste. They should make sure that we go back to school, we study properly, no rush, and everything should go right.
Okay, thank you, Tobile. Perfect. When for you are doing your second year, is it? And what has your experience been in terms of what's been happening in terms of your schoolwork?
For me, it was so hectic because I can't even study on my own. It's better for us to go back to school so that they can teach us properly, because we are already left behind. So we can't study on our own.
And okay, maybe Pevector, just to throw it forward, what are you expecting to hear from address Yaga Minister Nzimande this in a few minutes actually?
I'm expecting the minister to say to us that we are going back to school. But then, even though we go back to school, we can't. They must make sure that we don't risk with our lives. They must make sure that our school is clean, and they must make sure that they bring more PPEs for us, so that we cannot risk with our lives.
Okay, maybe Sonia, let me go back to you. I understand all three of you live in but you live in residence on campus,
yes.
Right? Are you concerned about that in terms of? I mean, what is the living situation? Do you share a room? Is it a single room? How does it work?
We share rooms. We do share rooms. We share in a group of 3. Then there are singles room whereby our SRC is located, and the floor reps, those who help with the floor and everything. Yes.
So you're about 3 in a room.
Yes.
So do you think there's enough space within the bedrooms for issues the social distancing?
Yeah, there is enough space. There is enough space.
Okay. And also, Tobile, for you, I think maybe as a final year student, how would you, I mean, there've been talks of revising the calendar as to maybe end the year a little bit later. I mean, is that something that you think could perhaps salvage the situation in terms of your academics?
Yes, that would really help, because if we go back to school now and we rush things so that by the end of the year everything should be settled, there will be a high rate of students who have failed, and which is not what we want. So if it means the year should be overlapped, if it means the course should be overlapped to next year, so be it.
So is this also something, Pevector, that you think could be feasible for you, or do you know, is it, I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think they must end more days for us, so that we must not be left behind. Because this thing, it will affect us very bad. Because we can end up supplementing, and we can end up failing our modules. So it will be better for us to go back to school. And they must end more days for us, so that we can prepare more.
Okay, and just, I think maybe just quickly, are you know, you are obviously saying that you all don't mind, all 3 of you are saying you don't mind if they add on the academic year, so even if it means you should go to school during December?
Yes.
We don't mind.
So, okay. Anything else perhaps that you feel, anybody that you want to see the minister saying maybe?
I think us going back to school, they should really prioritize on our safety, because remember, as TVET colleges, we have never been taken so serious, and this is a very serious issue. We need to go back to school knowing that everything will be provided, knowing that everything that we're gonna face, like it will be taken care of, and everything should be provided. We shouldn't just hurry up to go back to school. We should go on school, but knowing that everything will be there.
And just, I think, before in closing, you've still been getting your monthly allowance from NSFAS. How has it been working? What has been going on for the past 2 months, I think, or so?
In the past month, we haven't received any amount. Like, nothing is happening on our side. We don't receive data. We don't receive laptops as promised. We don't even receive money for us to buy data on ourselves. So nothing is just happening.
Pevector, have you been receiving your NSFAS allowance?
No.
Do you receive NSFAS? Are you all NSFAS beneficiaries?
Yeah, we are, but on my side, I've never received NSFAS money. Like, I'm not the only one. It's a group of students from the school. Before closing, before this whole pandemic, like, we've been fighting for this issue of receiving our money, and we've been waiting and waiting until now.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. We'll definitely be chatting just after this, just to find out what are your feelings about the minister's pronouncements. And as you've heard there, Desiree, I mean, students talking to various issues, but I think quite what seems to be quite important, and I think at the forefront of their minds, is the issue of safety. Let it be safe. There shouldn't be a rush to open institutions of higher learning if it's not safe. And I think a lot of the students have definitely that I've spoken to here today also saying that they haven't been receiving that online education that was, I think, an alternative at some institutions. But I think also saying that they haven't been receiving monies from NSFAS, that they are told that they qualify for NSFAS, but they haven't been receiving that allowance, and as such they are unable to buy things such as data. And as well as saying that when they left the campus, they also left books behind. I think 1 or 2 WhatsApp groups have been created in certain subjects, but for the rest of the academics, nothing has been happening. It's been a standstill. So seemingly for these 3 ladies here, it's almost 2 months worth of academic progress that has been lost due to the COVID-19 challenges that, or the pandemic that the country and the rest of the world finds themselves in.
Mahlako, do you get a sense of relief from the students? This briefing has been postponed several times, and do we know why there were these postponements?
It would seem, I think, everybody on waiting anxiously to hear what is it that this Minister Dr. Blade Nzimande will be saying this afternoon. But as to why there was postponements, I mean, the sector in itself is big, and you would remember that basic education also postponing their briefings as well. I mean, it took almost a week until we could get the announcement or the update by the minister. And one of the things that when we spoke to the various provinces was the issue of the procurement, or how are they then going to finance PPEs as well as just getting that supply, saying, I mean, these equipments are in huge demand and challenging. So we'd have to hear, I mean, you would remember that Dr. Nzimande saying that there was the issue of the laptops that he was trying to procure for students. I mean, there's a lot of issues as to, especially if you're trying to get students to participate with online learning, the different challenges faced by the different institutions. I mean, Wits, for example, having to give some of the students data. Then you go to an institution like your University of the North, where perhaps a lot of their students are spread out in very rural parts of the province and other parts of the country. So I think perhaps just trying to be able to speak to one voice could be perhaps one of the reasons why these briefings have been postponed, because I think a lot of students and parents as well expecting a progress report as opposed to just appearing before the nation for the sake of appearing before the nation.
Mahlako, we'll look forward to that. Of course, let's just show you some live footage coming from the briefing there. There's the details of the briefing from the Higher Education and Training Minister. We'll bring you that as soon as it starts. Let's take a break.